Good morning, good morning. It is Tuesday, I think. I don't know. It's weird when you're on vacation. Let's start off with Hibble. A 10-second, not really 10 seconds, I'm lying when I say that. A relatively short Google search turned up Zhao v. Desert Palace. It was a 2012 Ninth Circuit decision. Zhao had been trespassed from Desert Palace properties in the past. She was caught back on their property. She was forced to identify. The officer did all sorts of things like ask her name, her social security number, her driver's license number. He went through her purse, all that fun stuff. Did not seem to be an issue. This is what I'm talking about. And yes, it was in Nevada. It was in Las Vegas. This is what I'm talking about. I understand what the Supreme Court held. I understand that they based their decision, or at least they stated they based their decision based on asking for just the name. And that is a very safe course of action for the U.S. Supreme Court to take. They like to do that. They like to keep their options open. They like to narrowly tailor their decisions based on what's directly in front of them, which is why instead of having one definitive ruling on what the cops can or can't ask for, we have like 20 that we have to reference or something stupid like that. But yes, it does appear that the cops can identify you. Now, is that going to be the issue in that, what was it, Martinez case? Juan Martinez? Why do I want to say Juan Martinez? I'm probably wrong. Whatever started this whole thing the other day. Is that going to be dispositive in that case? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, do they know who the guy was? Did they know who the guy was when they went to trespass him? If that's the case, then maybe they don't need anything beyond just his name and how to spell it. You know what I mean? So it's certainly not a... I've never been all the way down there. Maybe I should. I don't know, it doesn't look like a... Well, I guess none of this really looks like county maintained, but they bring their trash all the way up to here. I'm betting it's not open. Anyway. Yeah, so whether or not anything they did is going to be good in that particular case, I can't guarantee you 100%. But a lot of it also depends on what the needs of the criminal trespass warning are. If there are more things that need to be filled out on that, if they require more information on it, then there's a reasonably good chance that they needed more information. But who knows? I certainly don't. But like I said, I do suspect that they get to identify people. If a name will suffice, then maybe they have to stick with the name, but I bet you they actually get to identify people. So that was number one. Number two, trespass and the trespass warning, they're different things. I know I've gone over it in the 3.5 minute criminal trespass primer, but let's go over it one more time. When someone trespasses you, you're not being arrested. If you're being trespassed, you're not being arrested. If you're giving an official trespass warning, you're not being arrested. You're being put on notice that if you return to that property, then you will be arrested. That's what that's all about. So you're not given an opportunity to leave at that point, because you're being given an official notice that if you return, you will be trespassed. Now, if you don't comply with them and you don't give them the information they need to fill out that criminal trespass warning, you're probably obstructing them in some way, shape, or form, and so they probably get to arrest you again for that, not for the trespass. Does that make sense? I hope it does. If it doesn't make sense, go ahead and watch that 3.5 minute criminal trespass warning or criminal trespass primer that I put out somewhere. If you Google criminal trespass primer, you'll probably find it. Let's talk about constitutional corner. Maddie seems to think that she delivered me a knockout punch in my comments. I suggested that she talk to me about it because I have no idea what she thought she got me on. I really don't. I'm not even playing on that. Like, I read it, I'm like, okay, I don't get it. She thought she knocked me out. I have no idea what the hell she was talking. Like, I have no idea what she thought she was countering of my argument. So, yeah. But once again, let me extend the invitation to Maddie. She has protested on several grounds. Number one, she thinks that she's too smart for me. Well, this is her chance to educate all the people who listen to me, isn't it? All the people who watch those videos where I talk to people, it's her chance to educate them. And if that's what she's all about, which it doesn't appear that she is, then she should be jumping at that opportunity. She could show me for being the fool that I am, and at the same time, she could educate all the people who are apparently riding my balls, as somebody likes to, or sucking my balls or whatever. I don't know. It's her opportunity to do that, and she doesn't do that because number one, I'm too stupid, and number two, she doesn't want to give me any promotion. Now, of course, she's too stupid to realize that never once have I put one of those up on my channel. See, the problem with all these idiots is that they all can't think past what they would do in my situation. And what they would do in my situation would be to, I don't know, call my employer. What they would do in my situation would be to raise funds. They'd monetize. They'd have their what do they call it? Super chats enabled. Because this is how they think. This isn't how I think. They wouldn't have bought a computer. I know you guys haven't seen it, but I also haven't figured out entirely how I'm going to set it up to do OBS on it. But they wouldn't have bought a computer out of their own funds. They would have said, hey, I need to buy a computer so I could talk to you guys while I'm on vacation. So send me money. What did I do? I just bought a damn computer out of my own pocket because number one, I can. And number two, I'm not going to use it just for educating you guys. I'm going to use it for, I don't know, watching porn or whatever. So enjoy that image in your head. I don't do things for the reasons why these other knuckleheads do them. In my Discord the other day, because yes, while I am at my parents', I do spend quite a bit of time on Discord because, well, they're watching ridiculous shows and I don't. Yes, parent time. It's amazing. A whole week of it. What could be better? I love my parents. I love my parents to death. I don't know. I guess when I start feeling better, then this will be more fun. Anyway, I was going somewhere with this. Oh yeah, so in my Discord, in the Discord chat, the discussion of that, I want to call him Juan or Jose Martinez. I don't know. That sounds terribly racist of me. Anyway, the guy who started the whole Adderley and Hybl discussion for me, and Mud said that, you know, that Adderley doesn't matter to him. And I said, well, it should matter to him because as long as the trespass statute is content neutral, then Adderley says they can do it. He said, yeah, but he doesn't care about that. And I said, well, then is he fighting the trespass statutes? Is there something wrong with them? No, he just wants to get arrested. And it clicked in my head that there are some people who are doing nothing but fighting the system. They're not fighting for change. They're not fighting for anything other than just to fight the system. What is that guy going to change by getting arrested, besides the number of arrests in his jacket? He's not going to change a damn thing. The case law on everything that he's fighting, in air quotes, is way too settled. There's nothing for him to change. So he's fighting the system. He's a martyr for the system. And I I don't understand why. Maybe it has to do with money. Maybe he's getting donations, you know, maybe it appears that he's fighting the system, picking up small charges like resisting or obstruction or failure to ID or whatever the hell he's getting charged with. But maybe he's picking up small charges and the donations are keeping pace with or exceeding how much it's costing to deal with those charges. I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I have no idea why half the stuff in this community is going on. We as a community haven't picked any single identifiable thing that's wrong and gone after it. I understand that we're loosely associated with filming in public at this point, but that association gets more and more tenuous as the days go by. Got a dog following me still. These guys have really weird lawn statues everywhere. It's pretty strange, but hey, you know, I guess it's an East Coast thing. A lot of really pretty houses out around here. And everything's green, but my God, is it humid. It is, right now it's 7:50, and it's probably somewhere above 90% humidity. It's a little ridiculous. You know, basically the only way for it to be more humid than this would be to be underwater. California might be hot, but my God, it's a dry heat. Good times. So yeah, Maddie, I think Maddie has just developed a terminal case of scared and just looking for excuses to not tell me to my face, in quotes, how wrong I am and taste the rebuttal of my backhand across her mouth. But hey, you know, I guess everybody has their strengths and weaknesses, and I don't expect everybody to want to actually talk in person about it. It is a lot easier, it's a lot better to be able to think about your comments and write them down. The problem in that is that you don't get the instant feedback, and the comments tend to get really long, which is why I mean, that's one of the many reasons why I give very short, pithy responses. Because, you know, you start getting people writing pages of comments and it's just ridiculous. No one besides me would ever read them. And, you know, you respond to each point is going to require a paragraph, and you went from a 3-page response to a 10-page rebuttal. And then, you know, you get like a 20-page response to the rebuttal. It gets stupid fast. There is something to be said for having a discussion on it, but whatever. Maddie's probably got more exams coming up, so, you know, you can't pressure her. Let's see, do I have anything else to talk about? Oh, yeah. So people seem to really like me talking about things that I don't like with the government. I don't like civil asset forfeiture. That's one thing that's really bothered me. I understand why it came into being and how it can and should be used, but I disagree with it on some very fundamental levels. So basically how it can and should be used is, say for example, a drug smuggler, a drug dealer, kingpin guy makes all of this money. Come on. Makes all this money smuggling and dealing drugs and all that fun stuff. And then he uses that money to buy vehicles to smuggle more drugs. Where'd he go? Kenzie! Come on, stupid, this way. So they have all this money and all these vehicles that they're using to buy drugs. They're making from the sale of drugs, and they're using to buy fuel for the smuggling of drugs and to repair the vehicles. that they're using to smuggle drugs. And then the police come in and raid them. And they find all these vehicles. And they're like, these were used for smuggling drugs. So we're taking them because they are the product of drug smuggling. Yeah. And then the police high five and they take pictures of themselves on mounds of weed and mounds of money and with piles of weapons in front of them. Ooh, look how badass we are. Yeah, we're badass because we did this. And then they take all that stuff and great. That's the theory behind how it's supposed to be used. How it seems to be being used problematically is by going after pissants. You know, mom and pop are driving to Atlantic City for a weekend of gambling. They have a bunch of money in the car with them. They get pulled over by an opportunistic road pirate, and I don't use that word lightly, meaning somebody looking to give somebody a ticket. I mean, these are cops who just do civil asset forfeitures after civil asset forfeiture, and they go in looking for innocent people to take their money. So he pulls over mom and pop with their wad of cash. He starts asking questions like, do you have any money in the car? Mom and pop, being non-lawyers and not having listened to me over and over again, they open their pie holes and they start running their mouth. They got a bunch of money in the car. They're going to Atlantic City. They're going to go gambling. Well, you know what? In his experience and estimation, they look like drug mules to him. They look like they're engaged in drug trafficking. They look like they're on their way to make a drug buy. That's why they have all these bills. They have all these bills from selling drugs. They're going to go to their drug dealer, their drug supplier, and buy a new stash. And that, in his estimation, that's exactly what's happening. So this is obviously cash that is the result of the narcotics trade. So he's going to seize it in a civil asset forfeiture. And now if they want that money back, they get to return to his jurisdiction. They get to hire an attorney, and they get to basically sue the whatever jurisdiction that he's in to get the money back. His money, because their money was guilty, and their money was guilty until they prove it innocent, and that's retarded. And I think everybody realizes that's retarded. The problem is that there's so much good press. They use civil asset forfeiture again for those big drug cases, for those where they get all the cars. Oh, these are all the cars they were using to smuggle the drugs. These are the yachts they were using to smuggle the drugs. This is the pile of guns they were using to guard the drugs. This is the pile of money they made. Look at this big pile of money. And they have their cute little doggy sitting proudly next to the pile of money that they uncovered. And it's good propaganda piece, and that's why they do it. There's propaganda on all sides. So civil asset forfeiture sucks balls. Personally, I think it's unconstitutional. I think that would be a Fourth Amendment seizure, and I think it's unreasonable. And I think it should be done away with. But there you go. That's because I'm a statist, I guess. Now, again, as to why I don't go after the police all the time in this community is because everybody else is doing that already. And occasionally I do, like when California Guardian was arrested in Olivehurst or something like that recently, at the Gilroy Garlic Festival or something like that. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, the cop was wrong. I have a feeling that those charges, if they weren't dropped, I haven't been following it, but if they weren't dropped, I bet you they will be. And if they're not dropped, then it smells like a loser of a case for the city. But again, what do I know? Don't have access to all the facts. Don't know what the discovery process is going to turn up, etc. Anyway, I did see the F5 letter. I don't know where the dog went. I guess it doesn't really matter. He knows his way home. Isn't that beautiful in there? The TCOL, the Texas commission of law enforcement or whatever. They sent me the letter they sent to the, I was copied in on the letter they sent to the Attorney General requesting guidance. The F5 states basically why or what kind of separation it was with the previous law enforcement. Here he comes. There he comes. He's prancing and dancing this way. So that's actually the one that I wanted most. That's the one that'll actually say why Mr. Miller is no longer with them. But that one's the one that's still up in the air. I don't know how long it's going to be. I guess it'll be until the Texas Attorney General gets off his ass and says something. But I have a sneaking suspicion that I'm going to get denied on that one. But hey, it's worth a shot, right? You never know until you ask. But that's how that's going. Anyway, I guess this is good enough. I am sweating my balls off. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. It's probably 74 degrees, 75 degrees. But my God, it's just muggy as hell. Anyway, thanks for watching. More beautiful green. It is so green out here. California is so brown right now. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.